Hey, before we get on with our two special guests, I'd like to invite up, we've got the EIF here today, the Election Integrity Force, just scored a big victory in the courts. And we're going to just, they said within less than 5 minutes, so let us know what that victory is. And it's very important because they've been fighting against what Secretary of State Benson has been doing, the way she's been running our elections and all that, and everybody's saying, oh, there's nothing to see here, folks, and all that. Well, evidently there was something to see here. So welcome back, Braden Giacobazzi
and Tim Vedder.
And Tim Vedder from the Election Integrity Force.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt. Good to see everybody again. I'm Braden Giacobazzi with Election Integrity Force. This is Tim Vedder. As Matt was saying, there was a big lawsuit, and I was one of the plaintiffs against the Secretary of State as well as the Bureau of Elections, and we won. It was very big, and the reason it was so big was because it challenged her rules, which are blatantly illegal. They go against the law, and so we challenged the fact that she wrote rules that pit the election workers against the poll challengers and create a fight in that room that doesn't have to be there. We, as Election Integrity Force, we believe in peaceful and transparent elections, and we believe that's how you unify this country. And what the Secretary of State is doing seems to be intentionally creating friction and disunity among people by creating rules that are in opposition to the law. And what the judge showed was that we were right when we were asserting that. So a big thanks to the judge for being nonpartisan, non-biased, and just looking at the law. Unfortunately, the Secretary of State is now appealing it and is trying to attach Mark Elias's law firm to our lawsuit. So we must be over the right target. So that's one of the big updates. So one of the other things I want to make sure that we mention is electionintegrityforce.com, and we are signing up poll challengers. Now that we have this win, we as poll challengers now have the rights that we should have had, a few more of them, and we really need you guys to show up at the polls, to show up at that AV counting board in Detroit and in Flint and in the big cities, so that we can catch some of this stuff. And like what was being mentioned earlier, there's a pre-processing now. The Secretary of State now allows for the election to have 2 days before the election where people will be opening ballots and looking at them. And if we don't have enough challengers around the state, we're not going to see what happens there. And by the time the ballots get to these AV counting boards, maybe they will already be manipulated. So we need to make sure that doesn't happen. We need a transparent election so that everybody's working together, so that there's no friction, and it's not one team versus the other, and everybody is just there as one team. That's what we're looking for. Tim is going to go over a little bit more data that we've uncovered over the last few months here that you guys haven't heard about yet.
So I'm going to make data sound interesting in under 2 minutes. So everyone has heard or has seen by now 2,000 mules where they have video evidence stuffing the ballot box. Well, we have been spending the last 2 years investigating where those stuffed ballots went into the qualified voter files. And so we have accumulated a lot of internal information. So let me give you some numbers. It was a record in the 2020 election. There were 7.9 million registrations, and there were only 7.9 million voting age people. So congratulations, they were already at 100%. So figure this out. Since then, they're trying to clean up the voting rolls. They've done just the opposite. We are now, with 7.9 million voting people, 8.2 million registrations. These are registrations that you can stuff ballots and match them up with registrations in the qualified voter file. So what does that mean? What that means is we have the internal information to know which one of these registrations are valid and which ones are not valid. I've been given the ability or the authorization to say we at least, and this is very, very conservative, over 500,000 registrations we know are not valid. They could very easily write registrations and align them with those false registrations. So we need people to help us stop that by using our information, meeting with the clerks, and help get these absentee ballots challenged and rejected.
So to speak to that, we also have a boots on the ground initiative in which we are enlisting people like you guys to go to the clerks in their counties and to show them the data that we have. It's pretty airtight data, and you give it to the clerk and you say, please investigate these. And sure, there's going to be some errors in there, but the probability of finding some illegitimate addresses in there seems to be fairly high. So we could use your guys' help to be boots on the ground. So please go to electionintegrityforce.com and sign up to volunteer or donate or become a poll challenger, because like I said, being a poll challenger, you're the last line of defense against fraud. We can try and catch it at the ballot box, we can try and catch it before that, but once it gets through there, you guys are the last line of defense, and we teach a really awesome class. I'm the teacher along with MC4EI. If you get credentialed with us, you'll get credentialed with 2 independent organizations, which gives you a lot of cool flexibility that I can explain afterwards. But please sign up at electionintegrityforce.com to be a poll challenger. It's a fun class. We have a fun video, and we go in depth into the worst of the worst cases that you could possibly experience at the TCF Center, because I've done it multiple times, and we make it fun for you, and we kind of break it down, and we show you the exact laws that will protect you in there if you know them, so that you won't get trampled on and treated like a doormat, because you know the law, and the law is on your side. So thanks a lot, everybody.
Thank you. Good job. All right, that's the Election Integrity Force.